All right. This, as discussed, is the video I'm going to put up on YouTube about how to take off a branded product, put it onto a spreadsheet, edit it, and then upload it back again onto Shopify with it all, with the symbols and the all that kind of stuff. All right. So let's get an example. This sounds really weird. Right. Okay. So first thing we need to do is get onto the home screen on here. Then you need to go to products. So when we go on the products, we'll go to the product vendor, and for example we'll use AirPipe to do the editing. Okay, now that's come up, we can see for example on here there's duplicate listings, so there's AirPipe there and AirPipe there. Some of we can get rid of. And there is, if I look into this, there is also a couple of degrees. So instead of going into them manually and doing them all over, this whole point is to get them on a spreadsheet, make all the changes, and obviously re-upload it. So first things first, now you've gone onto the product vendor and selected AirPipe. Next thing you do is just to click on one of the products. Select the name of the listing and the title, and press Command C to copy. Once you've done that, we'll need to head over to the apps. Right, so click on the apps, go on to Matrixify, which is the thing that we use to upload and stuff. And then what we need to do is export. So the export bit is self-explanatory. It just exports data from the website onto a spreadsheet. So click on export. Right, make sure that that's selected. So it's Matrixify XL, which is what it's going to be printed off. The next thing is the products. This is the thing that's going to be taken off the website onto a spreadsheet. What we don't really need all at the moment. It's got 6 of 64 columns that is going to be exported. We don't need them all. We only need 5. So what we need to do first is click on the arrow key there, okay, and then see the inventory and variant has been selected. Just click on the down arrow key there, and what we don't need exported is the variant price. So once you've unticked that, that means there's only 5 bits of data that's going to be coming out. So that's 3 there and 2 there. What we then need to do is go down to the bottom and it says set filters. If you click on filter and then you select a filter, this then gives you the option to select what thing you want taken off the site. So as we copied the title earlier from the example, we just need to have title contains any of, and in this case it's AirPipe. Okay, so then you add that, and what that then does is that's telling Matrixify, is then you've told Matrixify to take all the products on our website that has in the title AirPipe. Right, so once that's done, all you need to do is click on export, and then what it does, it has a progress report. So the export job is started, and what it's now doing is that scanning the total of all the products at the moment, 53,318, and it will export those in the green in a minute. I think there's about 1,000. I've done this as a test. What I'm going to do now is just pause the video until it's finished, because this might take a bit of time. Okay. Right, now, it didn't take too long. Enough to make a cup of tea. Yeah, it's exported 115 products. So what you need to do then is simply click on the download exported file, and then that'll do there as soon as that's finished. And all you need to do is just put that on the desktop over here like so. That's now exported all of those products we mentioned earlier, the Air ones. Right, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you what to do with the spreadsheet. So if you, on Dropbox, if you open your Dropbox and you select the menu on there, there's a spreadsheet called Change Title. So all you need to do is open that, and at the same time open up the export file that you've just taken from Matrixify. Right, so what you need to do now is top corner, the ID, so that'll be A2, move that along to the variant skew on cell E and move all the way down to where it's finished. So in this case it's that there. What you need to do then is Command copy, and then what you need to do is place it in the ID. So this will be the B2. So if you paste it there as opposed to Command, just do that. That will paste all the information in that section. Right, in the command, all you need to do is type in merge. All right, and then once you've done that, if you click the merge button again and make the cursor into black and double click, that will then create merge all the way down to the bottom. Once you've uploaded this stuff, make sure you remove those, because if you have merge and it goes on to like forever on another title, it can cause problems with some of the other products online already. It'll does some weird changes. Right, okay, so we've now got the title change onto the spreadsheet. You don't need the export now. All right, so what we need to do is change all these in groups. So what I tend to do is just smarten this up a little bit so you've got a bit of space to see the title. So this is where the titles are going to be done, right? Okay. So with AirPipe, you can see there's a couple of errors. That should be straight. That should be AirPipe is already there, so we can get rid of that. And the 45 degrees can be changed on that, and on the 91 can be done on that. We could change it to aluminium on that, I imagine it is. And there's a few connectors, yeah, aluminium or aluminum. And there's other ones, there's connectors as well. I think when I looked at it earlier, there's a couple that don't say connector on there. I can't see it now. I think it's on there somewhere. Right, so this is the quick way of doing it. Well, first of all, we'll get rid of AirPipe, okay? So in order to do that, we go to find and select, and then go to replace. Now there's two ways of replacing products titles in Excel. If you're removing the product, you need to put a space after the word. That means if you're literally getting rid of it and not replacing it with another word. If you're replacing it with another word, then you just have to replace it like for like. And I'll tell you why in this example. Right, so in this case, for the first one, we need to get rid of this AirPipe. Right, so you highlight, double click the word, it highlights just that word, and then Command C, and then go to find what, type in AirPipe. Right, this is the thing that is worth noting. Bearing in mind that AirPipe is duplicated over here, so that AirPipe and that AirPipe is the same word, but obviously it's got different font to it. That's a capital and that isn't. So what we want to try and do is remove not just AirPipe, but that type of AirPipe without the capital. So this is where we have this thing here called match case. If I don't tick this, AirPipe will be deleted. All these will be deleted as well as those, which obviously is not what we want. So this is matching case. So that just removes these particular ones. Right. As I said, if you're wanting to remove a product and not replace it with anything, you'll need to put in a space bar there and then hit it there like so with replace. All right? Because if you don't, what will happen is the connector bit there will actually add an extra space to the line, which I'll show you now. Look, so that hasn't got a space, and that is replaced by 0. So that replaces with a dash. So when you replace this, that'll disappear, which is great. But if you can see the connector, there's then 2 spaces, which we don't really want. So if I close that, if you make a mistake on anything and you want to reset it, just Command Z and it gets back to what it was before. So going back to this, air pipe, you want to remove it, get rid of it completely. So you don't want to replace it. So air pipe, exact match, because you want to keep that one. Space, replace it with nothing on there, replace all. Right, that's now gone. And there, if you look at the spaces on the connector, that is equal. There's not 2 spaces on there, so you can close that. Right, so the next one would probably want to change straight, because obviously that's weird. So Command C on that. Click on replace. And this time you don't need to put the space on there, because all you're doing is literally just change one like for like. I mean, you don't have to have the match on there. So once you've got find what, which is that, replace with straight, click on the D, so that part is highlighted, and then replace all, and that will replace everything in the D section. Right, so you want to do that. Okay, so that's now been changed. Sometimes when you do change these type of things, it comes out with some weird stuff that you might need to rechange, which I'll explain in a second. It'll make more sense to show you than to explain. For example, this one is a straight con. So when you replace something, it will add con to everything else that's on connector. So you'll see in a second, it's easier to explain. So if you wanted straight connector as opposed to con to have been replaced, highlight that, Control C, replace, and then you want to replace con, again Control C. Okay, you replace it with that. Again, you don't need to put a space in there because you're just replacing it like for like. So again, you highlight column D, replace con of connector. But now what you'll find is when this does it, it will probably make the connector ones a bit weird on some of them. So you'll see in a sec. Right, so they're being changed. And now it's added con to some of the other ones. So what we need to do now is simply go on to the ones that are right, change it to that, highlight D again, replace all, and that's changed all the ones of connector, con to connector, and then connector back to the right connector, so to speak. Right, so we can close that. As regards to the symbols, highlight a symbol like this, cut and paste that bit there. So Control Command and C, go on to replace, go on to find what. So again, we're not getting rid of it, we're just replacing it. So it's Shift, Alt key and 8 against that. So you now got that symbol, and replace all, and that's now changed the degree symbol from that weird symbol, and it's also done the 90 ones as well. The other thing on here you could change possibly, again you're going to have the same little challenge as we had with connector, so we can copy that, find that, then you go to aluminium, there's one there. Okay, so that's going to go weird. So hover over the, double click that, press that, replace that with aluminium. Okay, highlight the cells in D, replace that like that. Those have all gone weird, but that's also changed the aluminium, LO to aluminium. And then all we do is replace these again with aluminium, highlight that, replace them, and they're all done. So that has now basically changed. It's got rid of the duplicate of AirPipe on there. Within the course of a few minutes, we've also put a degree angle on there. We've also changed the connector. We've also done aluminium on there, and that's a lot better than what it was. And then we can upload that, and then we can make small tweaks later on. But just remember, if you wanted to get rid of a character, a word, when you highlight that, go to replace. Just make sure, if you wanted to get rid of that completely, just make sure that that has a space there and it's got nothing. Otherwise, without the space, it's going to replace it straight away, and it's going to add 2 characters to the following word, which makes it go out of alignment. Okay, and right, so once that's all done, so you've done all the bits, you're happy with everything, and it's all good to go. What you do then is you go to File, Save As. I'll probably change this to AirPipe or whatever product it is. Put it on the desktop. Excel spreadsheet. Save that as that. Okay, so that's now all there. You can get rid of this. And all you do now is you go back, refresh Shopify, and then go to Matrixify. Get back to, press back on there, so you're on the home page of Matrixify. I need to add the file, and you can either add it by doing it that way, or in this case it's not letting me do it. If you just press add file on here, as it's an import, we've done the export, that obviously takes things out to here, which was there. Now we want to put things to replace the existing ones, so we click on add file on there, click on AirPipe, click on that. That should start spinning around. And as this isn't a new product, we haven't got all that problem about like uploading only 1,000 at a time. We can do as many of these as we want because these aren't new products. All we're doing is, as that command said on that earliest one, is merging. So all we're doing is changing our existing thing. So we can change as much as this as we like. Right, once all that's done, if you press import, that will then import it over. I'll leave this one so you can have a play around with this particular one and see what you do. And see how you come. Let us know how you get on. All right, bye.